Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Circle the World podcast, where we discuss Joe Abercrombie's First Law series. I am one of your real-life hosts, Lord Chamberlain Jeffrey, and here are my co-hosts.
Much like George.
And Harrison, the Adeptus Historical.
And we continue our coverage of the Age of Madness trilogy with A Little Hatred. And we cover Settle This Like Men, Demands, and Taking the Reins. So let's get started. Before we get to our as usual, folks, we just want to say thank you, everybody, for attending or listening to the previous episode. By now, you might have figured out it was not moi. So to speak.
You may have figured it out. If you didn't figure it out, you're a moron. We don't want you listening. We are so happy to have
Jeffrey,
you back.
Me and Harrison made you say some horrible things last episode. You should
Apparently
really
so. I had a batch party to go to, and even though I had told these boys about it about a month in advance, it's just slipped their mind, and we're like, fuck. So we didn't have a backup plan for last week's episode. So what we did was I just recorded the intro for them, and then I said a couple words, and I let George just make magic. Yes. So
I'm sure you could tell by the episode that me and George did have a good time because we were imagining and also using AI Jeff in full. And we don't recommend AI Jeff. Real Jeff is much better. And as we said before, if anybody who didn't get it or inside of our Discord, we do not really support AI. That was just a fun little joke.
Yeah, it's just a good little joke. But, kudos to Harrison and George for keeping the ship sailing. Love that. Appreciate it. And so with that, as usual, folks, we want to thank you for supporting us, for listening to episodes, even like ones with fake Jeffrey. I really do appreciate that. So just want to remind you all to continue to follow us on our social medias, por favor. Okay. And that's our Instagrams at Circle the World Podcast or COTW Podcast. I forget which one. Same thing for Twitter. I think we have a TikTok account. Harrison made one, but no one.
You do this every 20 episodes, Jeffrey.
It's been like 100 years since then, man. Let's just move on.
All right, man. Jeez, relax, George. Holy shit. I'm back. Let me
TikTok account actually has cobwebs on it.
You know what? I'm gonna log in there just so that there's like activity.
No, you won't, Jeffrey.
Just maybe not. But just please continue to follow us on the social medias, and don't forget to send us messages through those platforms, as well as email us or leave comments on the podcast app that you're using to listen to our beautiful dulcet tones on. And so with that, we'll move on to our first segment, which is our community interaction segment. We're going to shout out, remind you all to jump on in over the community interaction. The thing we wanted to talk about too, though, was to shout out the fan art by Quonkus.
It was a year ago because we're morons.
Wait, what? It was a year ago.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. But
oh my god, we are morons then.
Yeah, we are morons. But if he's pinned in the First Law subreddit, so if you haven't seen it, you haven't popped in there in a long time, like we haven't. It is pretty cool. He basically is somebody who read the descriptions of the Agriant, took some artistic liberties, and made some pretty cool stuff. And there's some good ideas in here and things that I think people don't think about whenever they're reading. And it does get some grandeur that I think is deserved. So, take a look at that on Reddit. It's pinned in the First Law subreddit. Yeah,
and in case you can't see, it says spoilers all the Agriant fan art. So
it's a good piece of art. I just think it looks like something out of a sci-fi novel,
Well, this is a fantasy, sir.
It's just a little bit too far, Want a bit more grit.
You wanted to skip this segment anyways, George. Now you lost your veto.
So, but yeah, Quonkus, I think you did a great job. I appreciate the effort. And if you have any more, if you listen to this, make some more. And maybe we'll reach out to you. We'll DM you. By we, I mean me or Harrison, because somebody is mega banned from Reddit. And we'll
Jeffrey,
see if you
you're
want
to cut that out. That was terrible.
And we'll see if you want to hop on for a guest episode. Wouldn't that be nice? Quonkus.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, thank you. Chock full of them. So we'll move on to our first chapter read through, which is Settle This Like Men.
Jeffrey, this whole, if I may, this whole chapter is literally just a combat chapter. And I love it. It's like the only full combat chapter in this entire book, and it is done so well. Honestly, think that the writing as always with Joe's stuff is really, really well done. But as I was discussing with George beforehand, my favorite part about this chapter is how well Joe describes the combat and the details without directly saying them. There's a lot of subtlety. You know, how the arrows ping off the armor, the kinds of weapons they use. Is they're using axes and cavalry axes in the initial charge. They do have swords as well, so they have got this heavy armor. They're charging in. There's men fleeing. They're fighting in the mud. They're fighting in the water has overflown the bank, and it's raining. They can hear the rain pinging off the helmets. You can't see much. And by the end of this slog that they're in, Leo is weighed down. His arms are exhausted. The men are exhausted, and that's something that's never done inside of fiction. Really, it's like these armies fight indefinitely. And here we have two forces who are now battered and beaten, and they are like, okay, we're done fighting. This is ridiculous. We're all exhausted. Nobody can continue on for now. And I just really, 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 really love how this chapter is. Like, I think that the individual fight scenes in the original trilogy are better. However, the battle sequences are so good in the Age of Madness.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you, Harrison. I mean, damn, what a fucking sequence! I especially love that we actually get like close-ups and like the great details with Leo. He just never really dwells on it like a lot of other characters tend to. It's like he's got a faceplate full of drool, and he just like, he tries to say charge, and he just goes.
Mm.
He even has like a little speech in the beginning. You know, he's like, for the Union, and they're like, he's like, not good enough. They're like, for England, and they're like, okay, this is working. And he's
For
like,
the king, and then
yeah, he's like, for your king, and they're like, and he's like, for your pride,
for your wife.
they're like, yeah,
and then Cloud is like, for the young lion, and they're like, yeah, let's go. But I was saying to you earlier, Harrison, that I can imagine that scene like it was a film. Like there was this big cheer. It's all like, yeah, and then it pans out and there's like 500 guys stood in a circle.
And
yeah.
That's enough.
It's just like sad.
By the way, George, I do think that they're already moving, and I think that's one of the details too that I really like is the fact that they take some time to build momentum with each other. You know, that they're all getting ready or they're starting to move, and it takes some time for them to build up speed, and they're all trying to move together. How they're all kind of pressing against each other. They're all surging forward. That's one of the subtle things I like about it. It actually feels like a proper cavalry charge. It's not like that you just double click on them like you do in Total War and they just all speed up immediately.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, you're right. It does say like first at a walk, then at a trot, and then at a jolting canter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like that build up, which, yeah, I mean, this is kind of like how it works in real life.
And I love that. So refreshing that we don't have to have like a course on how horses charge. You know, like a lot of authors do that. Where they're like, the character is going to learn how to do a cavalry charge, and then the cavalry charge happens. It's like, well,
there you go.
Oh
well. And to Harrison's point is that this is a really well written battle scene, and I guess we could say it's more of like a segment of the battle, right? Like the closing segment, and it's well, I mean, we lose somebody here. We lose Barnava to an arrow to the face.
Yes, well, he's trying to save Leo, isn't he? He's trying to save his boy.
Well, it's funny. It's
the patriarch of the group, if you will.
He is the oldest one, right? Barnava. He's
the war weary. He's the spiritually oldest one.
I think he is the oldest one because they talk about how like
he
actually went to war.
Mm-hmm.
All these other guys would have gone to war if they could have, knowing how they, you know what I mean. And Leo is about 20 years old, and all these other guys are roughly his age. Barnava maybe is 24. He's not that much older. You know, he's old enough to have gone to war and came back. But his last word is,
which is very, unfortunate. Poor Barnava. I mean, he had to protect the young lion, and he did so at the cost of his own life and maybe an eyeball.
Yeah. He also has this, like they're doing their charge, and he's like, yeah, like we can talk shit on Leo, but yes, a cavalry charge and all this stuff is going to be terrifying. But I like how Leo is like looking at his friends as they start to charge, and like they all are hyped up, as you would have to be. And I like that there's that kind of moment of like manly brotherhood where they're like, yeah, let's fucking kick ass before they get slimed.
Yeah, before they get slimed. That's oh, that's funny. I mean, like poor Barnava, we know, and Leo, he takes his death personally, gets angry. And what do you think about that like last bit, that charge between, not between, but like with Leo, Glower, Gerard, Antop is there. Who's the other one? Whitewater Gin, I think, is there as well.
Yep.
Like you say, Harrison, this is a really fucking good depiction of it's just like a wrestling match between fucking 500 men on each side.
Yeah.
A proper shield wall where they're just pushing and trying to get a stab in here and there, and that's it. That's all you can do. And that's how war was fought for 3,000 years.
Yeah, just men smushing against each other.
Yeah,
in a gay way.
Join the smush.
Join the smush.
Go ahead, Joe.
Enjoy the smush.
Enjoy the smush.
I mean, there comes a point where Leo's so like not ragdolled, but so tired and saddled that Gerard is trying to like take him away to get him to safety, and Leo is so
they're just leaning on each other. They're both like holding each other up, like, we gotta get out of here. And he's like, we gotta get after him. And they're just holding each other.
And Gerard's like, we gotta fuck. I mean, what? And so apparently they're not far apart at all from Stour Shyfall.
Yeah.
And they're kind of facing each other, but like you alluded to earlier, Harrison, it's to a point where they've been fighting for a long time. At least the Northmen have, and then obviously, even a cavalry charge, even it might not have lasted as long. It's still a lot of exertion, and so they're both.
I like to think they've both had the exact same idea. Like they both concentrated in the same place. Like, we're both going to cavalry charge at the exact same place.
Well, don't forget that Stour. Don't forget earlier, Stour went to what he thought was Leo's standard, because that was the bait.
Yeah. So just kind of a layout, basically. They started crossing the bridge. Fenry sent more men in to try to hold the bridge while they waited for the Dogman. Dogman didn't come because he was caught up fighting up in that old fortress. But Stour's men were still pushing and going through, and he probably has more than 500 men. And as they started breaking through, that's when Leo charged, and then he was able to rout most of the Northmen with the cavalry charge and the fighting, save for some archers that were staying back, which did a little damage, and then they fled as well. And at that point, that's where they're at. So they held the bridge technically, but they're done.
and Leo was purposely going towards Stour's standard as well.
Yes.
So there's that. So they're both being held. They're separated by, I guess, the bridge or something.
Yes.
And they're both being held back by the homies. Right? Hold me back. And Stour is like,
two little dogs that are separated by a gate, and they're just like screaming at each other.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Barrier aggression.
And Stour is like, Leo Dan Brock, and Leo's like,
I'll face you in the circle.
Yeah, he goes. Stour basically yells out that they're not going to settle this on the field. That he challenges him to men to in the circle, you and me, and Leo's like, yes, in the circle, you and me, yes. And that's how we end the chapter.
And I'm surprised that Joe doesn't take it the whole way and just have Stour go, yes, that's what I just said.
Well, you're a bright one, eh, Leo? Repeating my words. That's how we talk.
So, Harrison, what would you rate this chapter? Seems like you're in love with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of the action chapters, in terms of especially battle and stuff like that, like I just like that it's not, like you said, George, I think part of this is how Leo's written. It's not as quote unquote confusing because Leo is into this. He's not afraid. He really is like ready to go. He's not being like, oh, my leg hurts and I'm so confused and what, oh no, an arrow went past my face. You know, like he's not like that. He's just into the battle. And so because of that, I think that in terms of just excitement and seeing the battle and all of Joe's little details and storytelling without talking about it, I think I'm going to give it an 8 because I just think it's a really, really good battle scene.
Nice. Georgie?
I think I'm going to give it a 7 just because of the really claustrophobic description we get when he's like under the shield wall, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. That's something that is really hard to describe for me, but I love that.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 7.
What about you, Jeff?
Well, too. 7. I was going to give it a 7. Really enjoyable chapter. Always love a good fight scene or battle scene. Like you mentioned, George, the claustrophobic nature of it. Harrison, like you mentioned, how even though it's claustrophobic, but it's not frantic. It's not frantic in the sense of like it being belied by like confusion or anything like that. So I like it. It's really good. 7 out of 9 fingers for me. So we'll move on to our next segment, which is our best meme of the week. Georgie boy, that's you. Take it away.
Yes, so this week we have Six Erdling, who has uploaded a meme that has got the highest amount of upvotes that I've seen in
a long
months
time.
and months. It's a long time. It's been a long time. And it's the classic sexual harassment meme where we've got the bloody 9 that says, I killed the king of the north, and the dog man's like, oh, you're so sweet. And then Black Doll, I killed the king of the north. Hello, the Union.
That's great.
Which really does highlight the dog man's hypocrisy, you know.
Yes. I love the man.
He's quite willing to, support one piece of shit, but not another.
I think that, and we never would have seen this, but I do think that the dog man, if Logan, for some reason, had stayed King of the Northmen, that Logan, I was thinking about this, he would have just kind of gone full Reign of Terror-esque, like rule and fear. And I think the dog man would have had enough of his shit too. Honestly,
you know what it is. I think
I don't know. I reckon Logan would just be like laissez-faire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah, man. Logan only becomes worse the longer he's in that kind of position. As he even started to become in the short time period he was even king, because people are afraid of him, and instead of him trying to work it out, he's like, "Yeah, fucking fear me." He gets a power trip off it. That's just that's a big issue.
He'd be doing King Solomon shit before cutting babies.
Yeah.
Before
I don't.
No time at all.
Yeah. I don't think he would go full evil necromancer, but I do think that he would be like up in the Carleon with only his most trusted men, and if somebody stepped out of line, he'd kill him. I think that he would just turn into the worst version of himself. That's why Logan choosing to walk away is such a big moment, because either he chooses to stay as he is, or maybe take a chance at being better.
When you say choosing to walk away, what do you mean?
He chose, at the end of the day, he says maybe he could take him, maybe he couldn't. But that's no choice at all. And then he jumps out of the fucking window.
Yeah, because he didn't have a weapon.
Yeah.
Right, he doesn't have a weapon, but he didn't run because he couldn't fight. He's done that before. He ran truly because he chose to run away. That's the whole point, is that he chose not to fight like he could have. He could have figured it out. He says that he could have figured it out. Maybe he would win. Maybe he won it.
At the end of the day, it is a choice. Logan going, it's not worth it.
I think it's just more about him just saving his own skin. Because at the end of the day, Logan, he is brave, but at the same time, he's a coward in terms of like facing the truth about himself a lot of the times.
Yeah. I'm just trying to give him credit here, Jeffrey. I thought you would approve.
I mean, I do. But what I was going to say was like, I think one of the things about Dogman, like why he kind of like you said, called the Union against Black Dow, but was totally okay with. Well, I mean, it's two different things. It's like it's relative, right? Bethod had already like basically exiled the Dogman, and his best friend ascended to the kingship, so that's different.
Yeah.
And then, but also in the case of Black Dow kills dog. Supposedly kills.
He doesn't know either. You're right.
Right, and betrayal is something that's like laced throughout this aspect here, right?
Yeah.
To Dogman, it's like he didn't have a close kinship with Bethod or anything, because obviously Bethod had them exiled and even like nearly was willing to have them killed. But to the Dogman when Bethod. It's like, oh, Bethod betrayed Logan, betrayed us as a group, betrayed like all he knew for. So that's why he turned. That's what I'm just saying. I could see why Dogman.
Yeah. Like you're right, and also probably let's be real too. Dogman probably wasn't the one who instigated it. It was probably Baez telling Giselle that he needed to get the North under control, and in some form or fashion.
Maybe.
We know that Bethard wanted Black out of there. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it maybe is one of his contingencies. Baez has many contingencies.
Yeah.
I think that's just how Baez works, though, isn't it? He's gonna seduce whoever is in power at the time.
Yeah, and he couldn't, so he resorted to war. Anyways,
I was going to say I would like to see how he would have tried to win Black Tower over.
Yeah, that would be cool to see. That would have been cool to see. But I like that.
I don't think he could have.
Well, no, I don't know if he could have either. But it's nice to think about. Maybe that could be a YouTube video. But that's nice when we get a meme like that creates discussion. I like that. So we move on to our second chapter read through, and this is the beginning of part 3. It looks like. George, I know you love doing this stuff.
Love turns with little indulgence to indifference or disgust. Hatred alone is immortal. William Hazlitt.
Now, could you mind telling us what you know about that quote?
Haven't the foggiest. But it's deep though.
It's deep. It's deep, bro. I promise.
It's you know what I think it is. It's cohesive because it's like gears turning. It feels like gears turning when you read it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's just industrial. And things moving on and chaos, and it just fits.
It fits specifically I honestly think it fits specifically with Leo. This is literally how Leo's mindset is. At the end, he's a little little filled monster, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Piece of shit.
And he did think he was a loving person at the beginning. He kind of was, to a degree.
Yeah. Nah.
He had potential.
Like many men, he just loves the wrong thing.
What does he love?
Dick.
Cocks.
Himself. And both all of those
exactly, you're right.
true.
You're right. That is true. He loves himself, cock, and dick. He's all three.
That's all. God. Yeah, that's all. The trifecta.
That's what he truly loves in life.
All right. So our next chapter is demands, and this is obviously this is the perspective of our boy, our beautiful, sweet baby prince, Crown Prince Orso. What do you think about this chapter, Harrison? Obviously, this is to me, it's a nice kind of, let's take off the cocaine lace goggles or so. You're actually competent. You know what I mean? And he's smart where he tells Pike to play the villain up a little bit before Malmer and them come in.
Orso is basically like, and the reason people love him so much is because he's basically, as I've said it before, he's the opposite of what most characters are. He is somebody who is very competent, very self-aware, and very willing to admit mistakes and try to be better. But he doesn't think he actually is that kind of person. And so whenever you're reading from his perspective, you get the wrong approach, especially with all of Joe's previous writings, that he does suck, that he is incompetent, and that he is just an inflated bag of royalty. But he is actually incompetent. We have this perfectly paralleled. His strengths are perfectly laid out in this chapter in comparison to the last chapter with Leo. They both show their strengths, just like they both how Leo is like good on the battlefield. This is where Orso is strong. Except Orso also has the parallel of his father having dealt with the same circumstance. And I love Giselle to death, but he is nothing compared to his son in terms of competence.
Yeah, I was going to say that's exactly the same as Giselle going out to meet Yoru in the skies of, the peasant uprising in Lost Argument of Kings. It's exactly the same situation, but also knows exactly what to say at all times. He's perfect. He's a wonderful boy. He can't do any wrong. We love him.
He's our
I
sweet
hope
baby prince.
nothing bad happens to him.
I really like too. Giselle has this parallel that basically he was handed on a silver platter how to handle the situation, and Giselle the whole time was like, I don't know what to do. And Bias is like, don't worry, son, I'll take care of you. Whereas here, basically the three people who come from the Breakers is Malmer, Vic, and presumably some veteran,
the red shirt, some guy.
Yeah, so the guard,
some guy.
And Vic basically hands them the list of demands from the Breakers, and it basically has instructions of what's going on. It's very basic. The Breakers are running out of food. Malmer is a good person. Just be honest with him. Blah 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 blah. And Orso executes it perfectly. Yes, he's given instructions, but his father would not have done the same, and most people wouldn't have. He immediately just rolls with it, plays up, and it's very successful.
Yeah, and I like how after he reads the list of demands, quote unquote, Pike is like, "May I read your grace?" And Orso's like, "Don't worry about this," and he just like tucks it in his shirt. It's like, "I got this. Don't worry."
He Orso uses his hands in a peaceful down boy way 4 times in this. And it's great because
the calming palm is incredible. It works in real life as well. So you give people the calming palm.
He had enough calming palm for everyone. I love that.
Yes, I love that too. And also, this is the second time he gets Pike to smile a little bit. He says, "I think you might be useful as a villain." And Pike is like, "Because of my hideous burns." He goes, "That and all the black." And Pike's face is like, "Don't worry, Your Highness. I've had some practice in the role. Feel free to slap me down if I become too dastardly." I was like, "Is that sarcasm, Pike?
It's a good joke.
I can imagine Pike could have just turned around and said, "Is it because of my ongoing plan to uproot the Union?" And also would just been like, "That's so funny." What a funny guy.
That's hilarious, George. Pike also has this everything Pike says is double meaning. He's like, he says, "I look forward to seeing you as the hero of our little piece." Like it's all planned.
Yeah, because exactly. It's literally playing right into his hands. He's like, "Oh man, this literally could not have gone better if I'd tried." Also, is literally digging his own grave without thinking about it, and thinks he's doing the right thing at the same time.
I think Pike actually likes him, though. I think he really does like him because he doesn't have to babysit him.
Yeah, Pike likes him. He does at the end when he goes, "That was quite well done." He goes, "Quite masterfully done." And then he
it's got a tinge of sadness to that, obviously, because he knows what's going to happen.
Unfortunately, I mean, I guess you know what? Maybe not so much the case there. Well, that's another episode. But anyway, Orso does pass him the demands, and they kind of figure out that Teufel lady was the Archlector's agent. She must have been able to work her way up to the top. And obviously, that's where they tell him, "Oh yeah, Superior Rizanow was the one that started this whole bullshit, and he left."
What a cunt!
What a cunt! And then, so it's Malmer, Teufel, or Vic, as we know her, and Brother Heron. Have we seen Brother Heron before?
Maybe
not
enough for us to do a character spot.
Yes,
on him,
we just called him some guy.
We just called him some guy. Love that.
Yeah, brother Heron. We barely knew you, etc.
Yeah. So basically, the whole thing was Orso had to navigate that. Also, don't forget that he's still aching to try to find Savine, but he can't. He can't even mention her by name because then obviously that just puts her at risk. So he's having to navigate personal feelings while also navigating the self-doubt and navigating the mission at hand. I'm proud of Orso.
And also, battling alcoholism at the same time. He's like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, too early for a small beer, maybe? I don't know.
Well, you know what?
I've never been up this early before.
I will say I will say a lot of time passes as we see in the next. We'll see in the next episode. What time has passed since the beginning of Age of Madness has been at least 6 months. So Orso did take time to put together this army, and he may have not been drinking the whole time, and maybe he's doing a little bit of, as we know, he's self-deprecating to the extreme. So he may actually be clean pretty much, and he's just being like, playful with himself.
I don't know if 6 months passes between the time he gets, like from Savine and his dad.
Not from that, but several months have, because the reason I say that, maybe a couple weeks. But what I'm saying is like, he stops drinking whenever he starts putting together the army, and it's been at least a couple weeks. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying.
I don't think he stops drinking. He just
he
says is like, I'm gonna take a morning off every now and then.
Right, but he's not being a hedonist right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I see Harrison's point. I do see.
Yeah, but I do think like at the time, nobody drank water. They're all drinking wine anyway.
He's royalty, bro.
Water.
He's royalty, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my point: is that my main point was that Orso's self-deprecating, so you can't take what he says in offense to himself as serious, because he's too. That's the version of his own character.
That is accurate. That is accurate, Harrison. That is very true. So, how would you rate that?
It's a pretty straightforward chapter.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dialogue that needs to happen in the story. There's nothing immense. I really like the Pike stuff. How it's just really good dialogue, I think.
Yeah.
And Malmer is basically, he's really sad. We'll talk about him here in a minute, but it's just a sad old man, really.
And he's just trying to keep things together, right?
Yeah, he's just trying to hold things together.
Malmer absolutely knows that the time's up.
Yeah. Orso basically plays the role perfectly, which is more than most people can say. Pike plays his role perfectly. Everybody plays their role perfectly. It's basically, this is a conversation that goes exactly to the plan that everybody intended. Literally, even Malmer, except maybe what's his nuts, because he's like all paranoid, looking around like Aaron, yeah.
But this is anyway, like also says out loud to himself and says to other people that whatever he decides and whatever deal is made, he doesn't actually have the power to make it happen.
Yep.
And then he makes this deal thinking that it's in good faith.
Well,
even though he kind of knows in his subconscious that this isn't really what's going to happen. There isn't going to be any amnesty.
Right. The best that, Orso can do is that he can try.
But it's interesting that he fools himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, he genuinely goes into this negotiation thinking this is what's going to happen, and then he's pleased with it.
Yeah, I think it's just because he wants to be good, and this is a good thing, an action that he takes, and he thinks that because Pike seems agreeable, and Vic gives him, here's what you should do. He thinks that it should work out this way. But we'll talk about that kind of tragedy, I think, a little bit more next episode after. I think I'm going to give this a 6 out of 9. I think it's just really good dialogue. There's a lot of, there's a lot of parallels to Giselle's stuff and other scenes, especially with Leo. It's hard that the reason why we're talking about these chapters as a whole more is because there's so much happening in every sentence and phrase and paragraph in the writing. I feel like for the most part, most of the time, that it's difficult to cover every single point. So, but overall, it's a pretty solid chapter, but just not one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. Georgie,
I reckon a 6 as well. Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit as to why, or you kind of?
Well, yeah, it's been a lot. It's what I just said. There's a lot of emotions for me, but also he's going down a bad road.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
6.
I'm actually gonna give it a 7. I really like the dialogue. Yeah, I really like the dialogue late in chapter. I really, really like seeing Orso kind of naturally sent to competence, right? And it's not like he has to struggle to figure it out. The most that he struggled with was like kind of being caught off guard by Vic's note that like, hey, I'm actually on your side. I'm on the Inquisition. Hey, man, sure.
Yeah.
Right, that kind of thing. But other than that, you know, he navigates Forrest and Pike and Vic and Malmer, and he's having like these internal conversations within himself about like the whole Savine thing and everything. As well as looking at it from the perspective of Malmer as a guy that, who, you know, is left picking up the pieces because Rizno and everybody left, and he decides to be as honest as he can with him and say, listen, I don't really have that power. And by coming clean with Malmer, he pretty much kind of like guarantees that this deal it's gonna be fine. It's just gonna be a nice peaceful surrender, and Malmer respects him, even like shakes his hand. Remember, because when they walked in, they kind of like disrespected him a little bit, and Pike's like, you want to address him like the proper address, whatever. And it's like, shut up. And so
at the end, he also says, Your Majesty. Thank you,
Your Majesty or Your Highness. Yeah.
Your Highness.
Your Highness. It was Your Highness. But still, like that's nice. I don't know. I really like it. So I'm going to give it a 7. And so with that, we'll move on to our next segment, which is our character spot. Boys, who are we shining that nice little spotlight on?
We're talking about Malmer today. Just a simple, hard-working man.
What's that guy's fucking name who always talks about it? It's Broad's friend. Broad's friend. Who's Broad's friend?
Sorrelby?
I can never remember.
Sorrelby.
Sorrelby talks like that. If for those who don't listen to the audiobook. And he's the one who says Malmer the most. So whenever he mentions Malmer.
You know,
he always sounds like that.
Oh, yeah.
Kermit the fucking frog.
Oh my god!
I was saying to you guys, wasn't I, earlier, that this is a kind of weird regional accent that only happens in the UK for some reason. That somebody just has that weird little nasally bit about them, and they just, they talk like this a little bit.
Jeff, can you do that?
What region is that?
I have no idea.
Jeff, can you do that voice?
Do it for me again, George.
Just imagine that you're talking like Alan Rickman.
Just imagine that you're talking like
Imperialist.
Yeah,
you're doing it. You're doing it. Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yes.
Okay, so my name is Malmer.
That's actually really good, Jeff. That's your best English accent.
That is your best English accent.
What? This has went off the rails. Holy shit. Talk about Malmer, Harrison. Fuck.
Malmer, we didn't talk about it too much in the chapter because we kind of did more of an overview of this one. But Malmer is
left holding a bag of shit.
Yeah, he's literally okay. Imagine this. You're at work.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is stressed the fuck out. I'm basically just going to describe my workplace. You have your manager fucking bailed on you because they found a better position somewhere else, or they did something. Who knows? It doesn't matter. They just fucking bailed on you.
The CEO
and you look over to your left. And you see a shining light. Someone who's been there 20 years, who cares about the facility, its employees, and looks at you, goes, "It's going to be okay. I got this. I'll hold the line."
Yes.
And you go, and a tear runs down your face. You go, "We'll be okay." Even though you know it won't be. Because Malmer is going to get all the shit and probably fucking kill himself by the end of the shift. But you know what he's going to do? He's going to hold everything together. That's Malmer, okay? Malmer's the GOAT. Who does this in the First Law? Picks up the shit, goes, "I'm going to do the right thing." Nobody. And he gets fucking killed for it.
Mm-hmm. We don't know he gets killed for it. We don't see that happen.
Yeah, we do.
We talk about spoilers, Jeffrey. We don't like to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we do talk about spoilers.
No. Here's the thing. Honestly,
This guy is probably one of the worst fates for somebody in the First Law.
Well, in comparison with who we, yeah.
What I was gonna say was I wasn't I didn't remember, and I knew some people got moited.
Yeah, his head is on a fucking spike. I like Pike's character, but Pike's a cunt for killing Malmer. God damn it.
Yeah. That's why the whole bit with Pike in the last chapter is incredible. Beautiful.
That's why what?
All of the Pike stuff in the last chapter when, Pike's trying to play the villain for also in his little play. Mm. When Pike really knows that, oh yeah, I'm just going to kill you all. So that little smile is a little bit more creepy.
Ooh, maybe. So what do you think, Malmer? Malmer, he's an employee, put in his 35 years.
He actually speaks out for people. He
Yeah.
speaks out for people in a good way, and he tries to get things done constructively. And his other co-workers drag him down as usual.
He's probably the union rep for the local, the chapter or the shop steward or something. 2 weeks away from retirement. And
that's what I mean. Yep. And the only thing he doesn't have is the desire to be a leader truly, or be like super charismatic. Yeah, he just.
Sorry.
No, that's the tragedy. He does.
Oh, Jeffrey, he does. Oh no.
35 years at the company, 401k maxed out, bitch.
He put what happened to get. I thought he put his 401k into Bitcoin or something. I'm sorry.
No. The tragedy is the fact that no one fucking cares. At the end of his shift, he gets hit by a car.
Damn.
That's what happens here.
Replaced like that.
Yeah.
Oh, Malmer. We hardly.
Yeah, hardly.
Mama. We hardly knew you.
Jeffrey, you sound like an entirely different person using that voice. It's kind of freaking me out.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's great.
Well, that's the end of that. And now we'll move on to our third and final segment. Well, third and final chapter read through. And this is Taking the Reins. Ooh, this is a Sticky Ricky perspective. That's what this is. I'm not making that up. Isern calls her Sticky Ricky. I see it.
Yeah. Sticky Ricka is a
No. You can't say Sticky Ricka. It's gotta be Sticky Ricky.
I can't say it.
Say it.
It sounds right.
Say it.
Sticky Ricky.
Yeah.
I like how this chapter's kind of broken into two segments: Rika with Isern, and then Rika with the other leaders of their group. But this first part, I think I really like. I mean, Rika just has a good perspective in general because she has got like a healthy perspective, and she basically is just
I wouldn't say she's got a healthy perspective. I just think that she is the most naive character.
Well,
she really wants to just see stuff as, what she wants it to be. I think
what
she really is optimistic in a way, but
here's the thing.
With the long eye and everything. No, nothing. Okay.
No, I hear. Wait, what'd you say, George?
You're entitled to your opinion, George. I just disagree. That's all.
I didn't hear what George. You cut out with the long eye. What was it?
I just think the long eye is her first dose of cynicism. The first time she's ever actually had to deal with anything.
Exactly, George. She's mentally healthy. That's my point.
But I don't know. Is that mentally healthy if you've never had to deal with anything?
Wait. Let me.
Okay, go ahead.
We're talking about relativity now.
Yeah, let me scooch on in here. All right. I think she is, she's mentally healthy aside from the fact that she's seeing things, past and present and future. There's that. But I think, George, what you're saying is okay, so she's led a life of leisure, right? So entitlement, right? That's different. And when you're saying naive, I think what's another way to say it or look at it is this is someone that hasn't been exposed to the horrors of.
Well, she's seen a little bit, hasn't she? She's seen a bit. She's seen a hanged man, and her enemies.
She shot a
and all that. Blah,
right?
blah.
But she still got.
She thinks she knows everything now.
No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Not here. What she said? She's talking to Isern, and she's kind of just wondering what's going on here. Obviously with all the carnage going on, and she's kind of just staring around in disbelief. And the only thing she kind of doesn't realize until later on is when Isern says, yeah, you might see a lot, but you need to learn to not say a lot. And then it wasn't until when, later on with the King's Herald and everything, she goes, I really, well, and not even before the King's Herald, when Leo's like, she told me that a lion's going to eat the wolf in the circle. And then there's,
but we know that's genuine though, isn't it? When she actually wakes up from her fit and goes, the lamb and the lion and the wolf and all that whole speech, that's actually genuine. Whereas Isern seems to think it's not.
No, but Isern's saying that you should just learn to control your mouth. That's different, right? As opposed to she's saying Isern needs to be much more in control of herself and her actions and her words. That's all.
Listen, Isern loves Rika because Rika is a good person. That's why she wants her to lead. That's why she has faith in her. No, I'm serious.
No, Isern's trying to bag.
I mean, I watch it. Rika, you can't tell me that Rika is, yes, she is naive. I do agree with that. And yes, she does lack some perspective, but you can't tell me that she knows everything and she thinks that she's all that and that she's got it all figured out she's a young person, of course, but she does say, she has this line here. There's no doubt that in many ways, no doubt there's many ways in which the world could be better. I mean, she's just being idealistic, like Leo, but inside of a healthy way. Instead of Leo being like, it's all about me. Look how strong the union could be if it didn't have black people in it. Rika's like, we could just be nicer to each other. That's not stupid. That's naive, but it's not stupid.
Right. Although to George's point a little bit also is where I will say that where you see the naivete here come into play is like in the next part when, Finry and Dogman are looking at Rika to tell her like, yo, can you talk to this guy about this? And she goes, but somewhere in the back of her mind, a dark corner she hardly known she had. She found she wanted to see Leo fight Sour Nightfall because she wanted him to spill that evil bastard's blood in front of the whole North.
I love that.
So yes, but that's her youth. That's her naivete. That's her
immaturity. Yeah.
Emotional immaturity kicking in right here.
But at the same time, that is just reinforcing the same thing that she saw and said genuinely,
Yeah.
Sure. Uh-huh.
Jeff, you missed this point, and I won't do it too much again, and I'll mention it again probably the next episode when we get the fight in the circle. I think that's the next episode.
Sure.
But Rika's visions, the way the time works in First Law is it's not changeable. Rika's visions happen, period.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Now, she doesn't know that yet. But no matter what happens, Rika's visions come true. She doesn't see a changeable future. She sees the future. That's something to know in terms of
as a sci-fi fan. I have to kind of dispute what you're saying because that's sort of the way it has to work.
Right.
Because if you happen to see the future, then that is just what is going to happen.
I agree, but what I'm trying to say is, in lots of times, people get the misconception. People in general. That, and they even do it here. Isern Farrell goes, if you hadn't seen the nail come out of the woods, we would have all been killed. And Rika goes, yeah, maybe. Because she's already getting the idea that it doesn't matter. What she sees is going to happen no matter what. And side note, Isern talking about healers having to be tougher than soldiers and how healers don't get enough attention. Great. It's fantastic. That's something, again, about the war perspective that Joe shows now that he didn't show before, which is people healing each other and trying to help each other and all these wounded. I love it.
That's great. But I do wonder about what you were just talking about, Harrison.
Mm-hmm.
If she doesn't see the nail, and then the nail takes them in the rear.
Nope.
You know why? But Starlight goes out anyway and then discovers them anyway, and then Shivers comes running back anyway because that's just
Shivers,
the way it has
Shivers wasn't going to go out there if Rika didn't see.
You're right,
yeah,
but she did see. That's my point.
We don't get to see what it would be like if she wasn't there, so we can't say.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Every single vision that Rika ever has comes true.
So you're saying that the vision itself, like her having these visions, that's just fixed into the.
That is a fixed timeline.
It's a canon event, as they say,
and it is
don't use the
immutable. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No. Just something to notate. Rick is kind of catching on to that. but nobody else is. And that's the point that she's learning. Isern points it out. Like, you need to watch what you say, because you are going to affect how people see things and view things. Because now, and this is a cool thing that we brushed over, Rika is seeing how people view her differently. Some people hate her, some people are scared of her, and some people trust her. Because now people know that to some degree, she does see the future. Which means now she can decide what happened. Not because she knows what's going to happen, she can change it, but because she knows what's going to happen so she can convince other people what's going to happen is, reality or not. She can change her wording, which...
So then obviously the chapter also concludes essentially with Finri and Dogman trying to convince Leo to not go through with the whole circle, the duel. And
yes, and Leo inevitably becomes Lord Governor.
Yeah,
and I love this
timing.
little moment. Such a quiet, sad moment when Finri is just like, I remember giving birth to that kid and raising him and wiping his ass, and just because he's a man, he gets to decide what happens to all of us. And Rekka's just like, yeah.
She goes, yeah, maybe he'll win.
Yeah. And we know Leo. He's not responsible, is he?
Yeah, he's not. I do think too that the conversation, I think George pointed out before, but Leo's like, Dogman, you're the one who told me about all the circles. Like, he's like, you guys are supposed to believe in me. I could win. He's like, maybe I'll kick his ass. And you're the one who told me about Logan and fighting in the circle and all that. And Dogman is like, those are meant to be fucking lessons, you moron.
We were meant to warn you off it. What the fuck?
Yeah. That was crazy. He goes, what did you... He's like, those are supposed to be horror stories.
I like how Leo just glosses over it. He never thinks about it. He's just like, I'm just going to ignore that. That's my entire ideology has just been destroyed, and I'm just going to gloss over it. It's fine. I'm going to go fight him anyway. What a little shit. Also, I love the fact that we get this moment from Ricka's perspective and not Leo's. Because I imagine if it was from Leo's perspective, it would just be so insufferable that nobody would survive. It would just be awful. It's just unforeseen glazing of massive standards.
You know what, man? This is like if Giselle or the close council would have just confirmed Finri as the lady governor, right? This, Orso would be alive. Everything to be different. God damn it! Misogyny.
Finri is the best fucking general ever.
I don't know about the best general ever, but she's great.
I would love to see Finri and Monza in a room having a conversation. That'd be great.
Ooh, okay, hold on. Let's talk about this. Finri, Monza, Bethod.
All in the same room.
Let's get some love to the others. What's that one general from the from Gurkle?
Ganmark.
No, from Gurkle.
Malzagut?
Something like that. And then we have from the old empire, that one dude. Cabrian.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be nice.
All the greatest generals in the world, and just Finri's out there like, what the fuck?
Greatest,
what am I doing?
The greatest living or contemporary, not because Bethod's not living, but contemporary generals. I would like to see what they have to talk about. But
I actually imagine that Finri could give Stolicus a good talking to.
You're funny. Or her dad. Her dad post West.
Yeah. We don't get to talk about Croy enough.
No, we don't.
Croy died a sad death in obscurity, probably.
Maybe.
We did never hear about him, really.
Well, old age, maybe.
Except on Leo's wedding night.
So let's kind of get on with the ratings. Although Harrison, I didn't ask you about what you thought of in terms of the whole confirming Leo as Lord Governor. Do you care about that? I really,
Of course, I care about it.
well, I mean, like I lamented that if misogyny wasn't a thing, that if Finnery was Lady Governor, she was confirmed as Lady Governor, everything would be so different. Everything would be so different.
That's true. That's true. But this has been established that male primogenitor, is the status quo in the Union.
Boo. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
As it is in the real world.
As it is.
Most of the time.
So I think it's handled really well in terms of the writing and stuff with this conversation. It's not as good as the conversation we'll get next episode between the leaders of the North and everything. Yeah, I mean it's there's I don't think there's too much to say here. I mean, you kind of detect that he's going to be Lord Governor soon, or maybe that's because we've read it so many times. But when he becomes Lord Governor, it's like as Rika points out, it just doesn't matter anymore, and that is the tragedy, is that it doesn't matter at all. Leo is now in fucking charge, and that is a huge problem.
So what rating would you give it, Hamilton?
I think it's okay. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 and a knuckle. Like I like the Rika stuff here. I like that there's like we're getting to. I think Rika's progression in terms of the long eye is really, really well done, and that there's a lot of that here and how they talk. Rika's progression as a character is great. But I think that's really all there is, other than the Leo becoming Lord Governor. But actually, I think I'm going to give it a 4. I think a 4 is. I'm just going
to interrupt you here because I think you're completely wrong. I love the fact that Rika gives into her hatred.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying.
She sees that Leo is going to go down a bad path if she does this, but she's just like, but he wanted to put my guts in a box.
Yeah,
and she can't let go of it. She can't let go of that thing. And everybody has that thing, right? Everybody has that thing that they cannot stop thinking about. And I think this is a perfect encapsulation of what we would call now like obsession, right?
Yeah. I love you, brother, but I totally agree with you. I just think it's a 4.
7 for me, Jeffrey.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll give it a 6. I liked it. It's a decent chapter. We talked about the whole Sticky Ricky being icky wicky with her feelings and icky wicky and being a little trippy stipsy. I'm just making things up at this point. Like you had mentioned, Harrison, earlier, or George, you did, I think, one of you two, about the healers. It's nice to get a look at the healers of a battle scene. Not a lot of attention is paid towards that side of war. And obviously, the whole thing with Dogman, Finnery, who is still I'm shipping them. I hope they're banging furiously behind the doors, and behind the scene footage. That's what I'm
Which,
hoping.
By the way, Dogman is at minimum 10 years. No, probably older than that. He's like 20 years her senior. I want you to think about that.
Hey, it's an age gap relationship. Leave it alone. Anyway, so, and then obviously when the Dogman is horrified that Leo took all the wrong lessons from the stories about the Bloody Nine. And then, of course, great timing by the King's Herald to just be like, "Oh, guess who's Lord Governor now? It's you, boy."
I actually do like the Lord the Herald is like, he like looks at Finnery like, "Oh, sorry, maybe not the best call, but I'm just the messenger."
I'm just gonna get on out of here.
My personal headcanon that is just Eurosuffle. It just turns up. It's like, but Leo's the boss now.
Is that why Rick is like, where did they get all these tall bastards?
I mean, that's exactly what we see every single time there's a fucking royal decree.
All
the other times of the book. It's just some bullshit, some bureaucratic bullshit.
Hey, listen to me, George. How dare you insult the Knight Herald who swam across the
He
fucking
swam,
river.
swam across the ocean.
No. Listen, don't you remember? Don't you remember the Knight Herald who left Adua for King Jazao to get to West's army? He left with all the other Knight Heralds. He's the only one who survived, and he swam to a fucking boat in armor, got up to West, and told him the plan. Don't disrespect the Knight Heralds. They're beasts.
That guy
Don't
was
disrespect the heralds. That's right. That's our show, everyone. We want to thank you all for listening and supporting this podcast. As you know, this is a passion project for the three of us, and your support means oh so much.
Join us next week as we cover A Fool's Weapon and Hopes and Hatreds.
And make sure you follow us on all of the social media or send us an email at souloftheworldpodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. And please make sure to rate and review us. Thank you all again for listening. Well, we tried.